Hello and welcome back to Stampin Squirrels, another Stampin Squirrels video. I'm Debbie, Squirrel 2, and today I'd like to show you how we're going to make this corner pop-up card. Now, once you've got the methodology for this card off to a T, you will never look back. This is a great card for added effect. So, fits into a normal C6 envelope, but the beauty of the card is that when you open it, it pops up like this. Absolutely stunning. I can't stop making these cards at the moment, as you can probably see. Here's another one that I've done using the papers from the new Stampin Up Spring Summer catalogue. Absolutely beautiful. Here's another one that I did. But today I'm going to use something that's in the existing annual catalogue, and we're going to be using Dino Dolls or Dinosaurs or Dino Days, I think it's called. So yeah, not very often that we do a child's card or a masculine card even, and so I thought today I'd mix it up a little bit rather than doing something pink and pretty, which is seems to be my go-to subtle colours. I thought we'd do something a bit different. So I'm going to be using the Dino Days stamp set and dies, and even if you don't have the dies, really easy to cut out, fussy cut them out, superbly easy. And when you pop up, it's got this great dinosaur in the middle. So yeah, let's get started, and I'll show you how to put the card together. And like I say, once you get going, you will never look back. This is such an easy card to do, and it's got great effect. So what do you need to start making the card? First of all, I would say is get yourself a C6 envelope ready. You need the envelope because when you actually measure putting your pop-up items onto the card, you need to make sure you don't go outside of that space. So it's really useful just to use it as a template, really, more than anything. Then your card base measures 5.5 by 8 1/4, and you score it at 4 1/8, and I'm using Mango Melody for the card base. 2 pieces of two pieces of DSP that you're going to be using for the front and the inside layer. So one measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/4, and another one 3 7/8 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And then you need a piece of white card for your layer for the front, measures 4 inches by 5 3/8, and then a piece of white card for the inside, and that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. You don't have to use white. If you want to use a different colour matte layer, it's entirely up to you. I'm using white for this card. And then you need a piece of white to make the template. Now I'm going to show you how to do the template in a moment, but this piece of white card measures 4 1/8 by 5 1/2. And it's really important, you can't just make the template, you need to have a piece of card that size, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then you just need some scrap card just to make and do your sentiments and to do the front bits afterwards. Okay, so let's get started, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with this template because that's the most important part of the card. So as I say, you've got a piece of white card here, and it measures 4 1/8 by 5 1/2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a ruler, and along the long side you're going to measure 3 1/2 inches, and when you get to 3 1/2 inches you're going to make a mark, and then on the shorter side you're going to take your ruler and measure down 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 this way, 3 1/2 this way, and then you're going to draw a line across. And when you've done that, this will be your template. So I'm going to put my ruler back. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm simply going to cut along the line. And then that, you can use that for scrap, but this then becomes your template. And what I've done is I've put the measurements on it, and I've written template, so I can't forget it's exactly what it is. And then you'll just keep that for future use, because you'll always come back to that template, because believe me, you will not stop making this card. Alright, so I'm going to pop that off to one side. I'm going to take my piece of card base for my Mango Melody, and I'm going to get my trimmer, because what I'm going to do now is score it. So I'm going to score this piece of card at 4 1/8. Make sure I don't cut it. 4 1/8. Fold it in half. And then I'm going to burnish that just to make sure I've got a really nice fold. Okay, I'm going to pop that off to one side for a moment. I'm going to bring back my trimmer. All right, so you know we said we had the template. This is where the template comes in. So I want my corner fold to be here on the left. Okay. So I'm going to take my template and I'm going to lay it right over into the corner. Like this. This is a quick way of doing it for me. Take my pencil again and I'm just going to run the line there, and you can see that it's made the corner. Flip it over and then this is your corner again that you're going to be folding. Turn your template over so it's the reverse mirror image and then pop it onto the corner. Make sure it's lined up absolutely neatly, and again draw your line. So if I flick that back over, I've got a line this side and a line that side. Okay, I'm going to bring my trimmer back and then I'm going to line those lines up onto the score line, and when I'm happy I'm going to score it. Score, not cut. Then I'm going to flick it over. I'm going to line this side up as well and score it. And that's because you're scoring through two pieces of card, so it's going to take a little bit of elbow grease just to get a nice score line. Okay, I open it up. You can see the score lines, and what we want is for this one to go this way. So what I do is I just take it and I just, with my fingers, I just burnish that score line. You don't want at this stage to make it really sharp, because as soon as you bend that like so, the card will take shape. And what I like to do is I turn it around, I line up the corners, because you won't always get this 100% accurate, so I want this to be as sharp as I can make it. So I'm just going to line up the corners and then I will use my bone folder and burnish the score lines. Flick it over, nice sharp burnish, do the inside as well. And don't forget about this bit on the inside, your pop-up bit, give it a nice sharp burnish as well. Lovely, that's your card base. And once you've got that off, you will not stop making this card, I can assure you. It's got great effect. I'm going to pop that off to one side. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the mats, the layers, and our DSP for the front and inside. Okay, so I'm using white as my matte layer. I'm going to use this on the inside, and I'm going to use this on the outside. So I just need to get these ones right. Okay. So the first thing that you do is, if you bring back the card base, if I was matte and layering this up, I would pop that onto there and then I would stick this down onto here. But as you can see, we've got the corner to get rid of. So what you need to do is bring back your template. And so the first thing that you do is you take your base, you pop it on. Now, I've been doing this quite a lot recently, obviously to practice for the video. I don't need to draw a line. I just take my big scissors or your paper snips and cut along the edge and then cut it off. That is surplus to requirements, or you can keep it for something else. And then you will see that suddenly your matte layer fits perfectly onto your card base. So then I'm going to take the DSP and I'm going to repeat that. So I'm going to put it into the corner. I'm going to make sure it's lined up nicely. And then I'm simply going to cut along the edge. I'll keep all these scraps just in case I want to cut something out later. And then hopefully you'll see that these all line up really nicely. So what you can do then is just stick these down. Now be careful, because once this is down, so it's not like using wet glue, is it? I have tried using wet glue, and I will share a secret with you. I found I didn't like it as much, so I stuck these bases down with wet glue, and I did find that it made them a little bit bobbly around the edges, not as crisp and nicely matted as I would have liked it to have done. I sprayed the inside incidentally with some shimmer. So I open the card up and I'm going to stick my base down onto the front. So that's the front cover. Let's talk about the inside. So for the inside, I've got this piece of DSP, which I'm going to stick onto here. And I'm going to use the corner to stick onto the other piece as well. So again with this, you will lay it onto your cardstock. I take the template and work out which way it needs to be. So quite clearly you can see that doesn't work. Flick it over so it's reversed. That fits on nicely. So stick it onto your corner where you want it to be. Make sure it's absolutely lined up. Scissors back. Cut across. Keep your piece of DSP. And then you can see that lines up really nicely. So I'm going to stick that down. Now obviously, if you're making this card for yourself, you're going to rub these pencil marks out with a rubber. But for speed, I haven't done that, but I will do that at the end of the card. And then obviously your corner triangle is too big to fit into that triangle neatly. It needs to be trimmed. So what you're going to do is bring back your trimmer and you're going to trim 1/8 of an inch off both sides. So line it up by 1/8 of an inch this way. Then flick it over and line it up 1/8 of an inch this way. And that just trims 1/8 of an inch off your triangle. When you bring this bit back now, this fits perfectly into that space. So put my trimmer away for a moment, bring the card back, flick this over, and then I'm going to pop that into there. So that's the inside. Now I'm going to do the bottom bit. Now obviously before we cut this, we're going to make sure that we've stamped our greeting. So in this case I've got some Mango Melody here and I've got some real red. And I guess I just need to decide whether I'm going to put a real red or a Mango Melody greeting inside. I think I'm going to go with real red. And from the Dino Days stamp set here, you can see my halo light there, I'm so sorry. From the Dino Days stamp set here, I'm going to choose Thanks for Being a Friendosaurus. So it's on the block. Squirrels are wonderful, squirrels are wonderful, squirrels are wonderful. Let's not forget. I'm going to place this over to the right side because this is going to be like so. And for added effect, I've got these little holes and just blobbly bits on this set, which is great for added effect. So I'm just going to do that in a bit of Mango Melody. Just random. Like that. I've got a little bit of red smudged onto the doodahs. Let's get rid of this out the way. Now let's bring back our template and the card, and what you will see is we want this to stick onto here, okay, but this bit needs to come off. So if I put my template on there, it fits perfectly that way, but it's still too big again. But we'll trim that down. So I'm going to fit that onto this corner, line it up perfectly, back with the scissors, and I'm going to snip it off. Now keep this triangle, and then this is going to stick down onto here. And remember, this is slightly too big, needs to be trimmed. So back with the trimmer. I'm going to take this side because I've got a red splodge on that, so I'm definitely going to trim that bit off. 1/8 of an inch off that side. I'm going to flick it over just so I can get the straight edge. 1/8 of an inch that side. Trimmer away. Bring back my card. And then you will see now that this fits absolutely perfectly into that corner. And you know what? I hate those pencil marks so much. I'm going to rub them off now. So that's the basic of your card. Now you can use any paper, any decoration, and if you don't have a stamp set that you can use maybe to decorate it for the pop-up elements, then cut things out of your paper. So with the Dino Days, for example, it comes with great paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this paper, here's my example from before, and we're going to cut some of the dinosaurs out and use them as the pop-up elements on the card. Okay, so I found the Dino Days paper, the matching DSP, and on the sheets, I mean, the great thing about this is dinosaurs, not just for boys, right? Girls, so they've got great pink paper as well with dinosaurs on, so it's really adaptive. You could even send it to an old relic as a birthday card if you know somebody that you want to suggest as a dinosaur. But this is the paper that I like particularly. It's great if you want to cut these elements out and stick them as pop-up bits. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So you can see there's some gaps already. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've cut out 3 dinosaurs. And I'm going to use these dinosaurs on my pop-up elements. So let me go away and just tidy up. Okay, so I've cut these out. Now, as I said before, really easy to fussy cut these out, or if you wanted to, you could buy the matching dies and it would make it really easy. The great thing about this is when you stamp these dinosaurs, obviously the dies fit the dinosaurs, but they also fit the paper, which is great coordination. So I have fussy cutted one of them out and the other 2 I've done with the dies. So it's, like I said, it's really simple to do, and we're going to use these dinosaurs to just create the pop-up edge on our card. So bring back my original so you can see. And it's just a matter of deciding which ones you're going to use. So I think today I'm going to put this one on and this one on. Now, do you remember earlier we talked about get a C6 envelope and use it as a template? And this is the reason why. If I bring my envelope in, when the card goes into the envelope, you need to make sure that the dinosaur's head isn't big enough so that it won't go into the envelope. So you position your dinosaurs so that it will fit, like so. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to line them up like that, and I think that's the way that I'm going to have them. So for this one, I'm just going to stick it down, and it's just going to be along the bottom. So I'm going to bring out my silicone mat, I think, because I know this is going to get on my grid paper and go everywhere. So I'm just going along the bottom. Now there's plenty of extra glue there, so I'm just going to squodge it in so it's just along the bottom. Line it up in my envelope. So let's say that's tucked into that corner. There's the top. There. Now, I can't think what these are called, these flying reptiles of yonder days, but I do know one thing. I'm going to put them on with dimensionals. Okay, that's good. So that's not going to go outside of the envelope, which is fantastic, but I do feel he needs something else. So on Mr. Red Dinosaur, I nearly had the name then, Terra something, I'm going to create a yellow bow and I'm going to put that around the neck. And I'm going to stick that on with my glue dots. like that. And then I'm going to open it up because this is the real bit. This is the pop-up element of it here. So this pops up like this, but we want to make sure, and this is important, you can't have your pop-up bit down here if it's a large one. So I'm going to show you an example. The hearts, they're quite big. So when they fold down, you need to make sure that they are within the card. If they stick out, again, it won't go in the envelope. It's really important. So your pop-up element for the card, when you stick it on here, you need to make sure that when you fold it down, it's contained within the card. Not too bad for this one because it's quite small. I think I'm going to stick him on with a dimension or two. Now, I like him. He's super cute. I'm also going to give him a little bow as well. So I'm going to do him in blue. He's cute. Okay, so that's the card. I'm just going to put a simple sentiment on now, happy birthday, and then we'll be done. Probably just a few embellishments, some coloured dots, that kind of thing. So earlier on we had a bit of scrap. I've got a bit of red here, and I've got some white. You could, if you wanted to, use your scrap from the front. I've just got a piece of white and some red. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do just yet. I think I'm probably going to go with the Mango Melody again for the front. And I'm going to just get a simple greeting from Itty Bitty Birthdays. So Itty Bitty Birthdays, got loads of really useful greetings. Just a great little stamp set to have in your stash. I'm just going to use the happy birthday. Now I could, if I wanted to, use one of the Dino Days sayings. Look who's hatched, I love you this much, it's more than it looks, you're awesome. Actually, I think I will use you're awesome. Let's change my mind because I can. So let's put lovely. I love that Mango Melody colour. It's not quite orange, not quite yellow. It's the colour of summer. And we're going to punch this out using one of the punches. Okay, so I've punched these out. I've used the old postage stamps kind of punch, posted for you, I think it's from the set. And I'm going to, I've added 2 extra little bits of red here because I'm going to just do that either side just to frame it here on the card. So I'm just going to stick those down. You're awesome. And I'm not going to put that onto dimensionals. I'm just going to stick that straight down onto the card. Like that. Bit of extra glue there. Okay. And that just leaves me really to add some embellishments to the card. Always a difficult decision, which beads, which bows. I want something bright. So this is where I think the in colours come in perfect. These lovely little dots are great, perfect for Dino Days anyway. So depending on whether you're sending it to a boy or girl, I guess, you could decide which beads you're going to use. So today I'm definitely going to be using some the bluish ones, maybe a yellow. Let's throw a pink in just for good measure. I'm going to put him here on the white. And I think I have another blue. I'm going to go 5. Whoa, I'm really pushing the boat out. 5 on the front. And then on the inside, I'm probably going to just put 3. So we have 1 on here. I'm going pink. There. And cinnamon. Let's go cinnamon. Smashing. Okay. So that, everybody, is the corner pop-up card. Ta-da! I absolutely love this card. It's so easy to do once you know how to do it. And as I say, you can just use any type of paper, any kind of look, any stamp set that you've got. It's just really easy. I think once you know the principle of how to make the card, then you can just, well, you could just do anything. So I'm going to bring back the other ones that I did. Here's the 2 Dino Days ones. That's just beautiful, this one. And this one's, oh, the hydrangea, the new stamp set with hydrangea. And I've used those gorgeous acetate foils on the inside. They're absolutely stunning. I absolutely love those colours. For me, that's perfection. But as I say, today I wanted to mix it up a bit because we very, very, very rarely do anything for kids or for men on our channel. And I think that's a real shame because people are always looking for inspiration for cards. So yeah, this is the corner pop-up card. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, come back again, subscribe and like. It helps our channel grow. And we really look forward to sharing some time with you again on Stampin' Squirrels. Thank you. Bye-bye.